Jaya Vishnu Srimati His Divine Grace C.C. Bhaktimarga Swami Prabhupada Ki Jaya Jaya Vishnu Paramahansa Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ji Ananda Koti Vaishnava Ji Haman Saraswati Radha Avrim Shosri Krishna Kanya Prabhu Nityananda Chetri Radha Shosri Gaura Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopina Nama Munda Radha Kunde Sri Gaura Sri Vrindavan Ramde Navadvipa Mai Gaurangde Anandamayi ki, Gauramayi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Hari Naam Kirtan ki, Hari Hat Mridanga ki, Samavera Bhakti ki, all glory is to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, glory is to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, glory is to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, glory is to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktimarga Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyamani Vasudhari Sarkarine. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimha.
Radha Dayane. Hiranya Kashipur Vaksha.
Hiranya Kashipur Vaksha.
Shivatam Natalaye.
Hare Krishna, everybody. My name is Krishna Dalal Das. I'd like to welcome you all to our Sunday Feast program. Maybe start off by asking, is there anybody here coming for the first time? Temple? Hare Krishna, welcome. May I ask, how did you find out of our gathering here today? How did you know that we're having a Hare Krishna dance party here?
No, we had come yesterday.
You came for the fundraising?
No, not for fundraising. We came in the afternoon.
In the afternoon, you came to the temple,
Yeah.
and you found out. Okay. Is it your first?
Ajay told us the story.
Ajay, yes? Okay, Hare Krishna. Let's get that. Friends, welcome. Let's give them a round of applause. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest for today, a very special guest, His Holiness Bhaktimarga Swami. Let's give him a warm, high wall and welcome. I actually have I want to do this right here, so I'm going to read a little bit about Maharaj here, just to start here. So, Bhaktimarga Swami, born in Chatham, Ontario, Canada, is also known as the Walking Monk, for having trekked 4 times across Canada, keeping with the spirit of pilgrimage. He also crossed the USA, Israel, Ireland, Guyana, Trinidad, Mauritius, and the Fiji Islands. Documentation of his Canadian walks is found in 2 films, The Longest Road by the National Film Board of Canada, and Walking, The Lessons of the Road by Michael Oish. Oish, did I say Oish? Oish, yeah. Like Oish. As a youth, Swami was a student of fine arts, but took to the life of a Hare Krishna monk at the age of 20 in 1973. Although pursuing monastic ways, he maintains artistic expression through morality theater, which takes him around the globe as a playwright and director, an opportunity to work with talented youth in various communities. He is also an instructor of Bhakti Yoga, a leader of musical mantra meditation called Kirtan, which we all participated in just now, and a speaker on the science of the self based on the ancient teachings of the Gita. So we're very fortunate to have Maharaj here, and he's also the GBC for Canada, so Governing Body Commissioner. He's kind of our leader, right, in Canada, and he oversees the different temples and groups throughout the country and the States, I think. He has some duties as well in the United States of America.
Yeah. Alaska and a few other places.
And Maharaj has been coming to Ottawa regularly every year since I can remember. I was 5 years old when I came to the temple, and I remember him even at that time. That was some 30-something years ago. And so we're really, really privileged to have Maharaj here and share his enthusiasm and his wisdom and insights with us. So we're looking forward to hearing to whatever he has to say. And take this opportunity, take it in, right? If you have some thoughts, some questions afterwards, some reflections, we'd love to hear it. So Maharaj likes questions. I know that's something that...
Yeah, it's okay.
Some questions are okay. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Oh, and one more thing, Krishna Seva Prabhu is reminding me that there is a kids program downstairs. So if the kids would like to come, then we have something special planned for you.
Mother Karna Janaki will post that, right?
Mother Karna Janaki, Jaya. And Krishna Seva Prabhu's motioning like this. So that must mean let's move forward. And I think other devotees are going to come in soon at some point, so we'll leave some space for them as well. Thank you.
So we'd like to congratulate you all. Yesterday was a fine event where we got pledges for our temple, the expansion of this building, the renewal of the building actually. And should I mention that?
Sure.
Okay, so yesterday it was pledged $263,000. That's a lot of loot. I was walking with Raman and Alex earlier on. We were by the Parliament Hill, and they're doing an amazing job with a big dig there. I understand it's $1 billion. You know? That's a lot of money. So we just got a little drop in the bucket, but it's going to keep growing. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. We will now chant Jaya Radha Madhava, this bhajan written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and always sung by Srila Prabhupada before he started a talk. Good. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Pradhujanarandana Yashodanandana Madhava ki, Shri Gaura ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun militam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisance unto him. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Just want to read a poem just to start off, and it's to Srila Prabhupada. In 2015, I walked across the USA, and the walk was dedicated to our teachers. That's the way we coined it. So a little poem here, and this is connected to Srila Prabhupada, of course. To my teacher.
Hello.
Hello. I do hope we make some room. I noticed that the last two guests that came, they were a little bit bewildered. They, oh my God, it's like the universal form. So we should make some trail so that they know clearly there's a way to go. Okay, so here it is. Your arrival to the USA was a draw to pull us away from the culture of the gun, all the trigger-happy fun. You set our finger to bead and string, gave us a song that we could sing, a different tune, a different drum, a magnet to which many would come. We turned down fish, fowl, and cow. Our palate knows better now. Food became not just food, but a product of a devotion's mood. Life became a makeover, a reversal of ways and thoughts. It was an untying of prejudicial knots. We even denied denim pants, for in robes and saris we now dance. The word service has now a different meaning. Even the toilet is appealing at the time of cleaning. In that spirit, the sun always rises. It is in giving we observe endless surprises. You direct us where pilgrims go, to lands sacred that sages know. The land of India has become an attraction, as is America, where my feet now have traction. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. And this is from a book that we wrote, and it's available. Not right now, but later on. Okay, many of you are aware of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, our teacher, Guru Maharaj, has been mercifully traveling through different lands, and during the time that he was with us, from September 65 to November 14th, 1977, he traveled the globe a few times. And we have a murti of him here, of course, and we have a picture of Prabhupada right here. He looks a little stern here. It's not my favorite, to be honest with you. But I remember Prabhupada with a smile. I had the good fortune to see him in Atlanta, Georgia. That was my first time seeing him in '75, at the time of his Guru Maharaj's appearance day anniversary. So what Prabhupada came to give us was this Bhagavad Gita, which looks like a brick of gold. It really, literally looks like a brick of gold. And has greater value. In fact, it's priceless. In the book, the contents tell us of an ancient wisdom, which is formulated out of a conflict, a war. Everyone's familiar with confrontation, conflict, disagreement. It's a concomitant factor of the material world. We all are dealing with these kinds of disagreements all the time, isn't it? Like constantly. You even argue with yourself. You know? The mind is such that it's called sankalpa and vikalpa, and it's going yes, no, yes, no, yes, 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 no, 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 yes, no, 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 no. And that's the nature of the mind. And so the Bhagavad Gita, which is an ancient text that echoes the apparent battle at Kurukshetra, which is north of Delhi and south of the Himalayas, is basically a setup by Krishna to help us understand that there's conflict within. So there's the Pandavas and the Kauravas. The Pandavas represent the adharmic people, and we'll explain that. And then the Pandavas represent the dharmic folks. Dharma refers to doing what's proper, doing what's right, going by your intuition, usually common sense. One thing Prabhupada said to us, more than it's common sense. Use your common sense. But the problem is, when we are influenced by the barrage of drug taking, narcotics, too much of this and too much of that, gambling, all the kind of, like when we drove up here from Toronto yesterday, I saw the gambling casino. what's the name of that place? Just along the way, Belleville or somewhere around there. Oh yeah, they have that too. Yeah, they're popular. They're popping up all over the place. Yeah. So the gambling, which is kind of an activity that's become habit forming, and it's one of those kind of things where once you get involved, it's hard to get loose. It's hard to get away. Just like, say, if I'm working at an assembly line, and one of the machines, my sleep gets caught in it, and it's going, wait, I might get gobbled up in the machine and just it cut to pieces into shreds, and there won't be anything left of me. So it's a little bit like that, being having these habitual activities that are self-destructive. Yeah, so Dharma refers to doing what's proper, doing what's righteous. That's a good word. Maybe some of you know some of the characters from the Mahabharata, which is the great epic where we hear about these very noble people. There was one person, and he was the emblem of righteousness. I'm just putting, you said I like questions? Yeah, okay, here we go then. Anybody know the person I'm talking about? Who represented righteousness? Who was the, let's say, okay, what was the first hand that went up? Yudhishthira, very good. He's the elder brother of Arjuna, and there were other people. Anyone else that comes to mind when we talk about righteousness? Who's that? Bhishma? Oh yes, very good. Yes, bravo. Can we give someone else a chance here then also? Because you're very good.
Arjuna?
Okay. Arjuna, yeah, pretty good. Anybody else in the Vedas?
Krishna?
Now, Krishna, that is another subject matter. Some people might say that Krishna broke the rules, of normal morality. But we understand that he is beyond all rules and regulations. By and large, yeah, he was totally dharmic, but he also proved himself to be beyond dharma. Now, this is a little bit of a different, sort of an analytical study that we can do of Krishna versus Ram, okay? So Ram was very much an emblem of righteousness. Krishna was somebody who just kind of broke all the rules, and yet Rama, at the end, somebody might even consider, well, I don't know about the end of the Ramayana, Ram kind of put Sita out there, when she was pregnant with 2 children, and for the sake of the community, in order to avoid like the discord of people talking and gossiping and all that kind of stuff, so it can be questionable, but some people have analyzed the lives of the Kshatriyas, the ancient Vedic warriors, and Arjuna stands out there. He really is quite amazing. Yeah. So there's other people like Janak. Janak is mentioned here. That is Sita's father. Incredibly dharmic. Now, those of you who are familiar with our culture, we spend a lot of time reading these books like the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and so on. And we're always reading about noble people. Usually it's the Kshatriya types, the Brahminical types, the people that went through some training and some schooling. We don't hear too much about people from other practices or habits, Isn't it interesting that in our modern day setting, usually people that are quoted about those who have got like not a very good past or a very good history, the folks that are highly intoxicated much of the time, or send the wrong messages out there, as in, just popular people, the ones that have the bucks, the ones that write the songs and are on the stage, They do some kind of interesting thing. Whenever something is spoken, such and such uvacha, then everyone listens to it. Oh, there's truth there. There's a wealth of wisdom there. Really? Are you sure? Let us compare it to Bhagavan, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. And who is Bhagavan? God. God. Don't mention that name in the pop culture. I'm not sure. But it is very good to note that about 90%, because people keep doing these stats, they come out, about 90% of Americans, I'm not sure how it rates with Canada, they believe in God, which is nice, And about 76% of scientists believe in a higher power, a divine intelligence, which is not what would have been the case just a few decades ago. So maybe things are swinging back to some level of sanity. Common sense, common sense, my God. Okay, let's say, let's put it this way, let's imagine something. And everyone likes to imagine a little bit. One person that's quoted a lot, John Lennon, his favorites, most people's favorite song from John Lennon is Imagine. So let's imagine we didn't get any education. Nothing at all. We're just innocent folk, struggling along, trying to survive. Okay, and we're trying to figure everything out. What to do, what to eat, how to carry on with business, how to interact nicely. What do you think that in that kind of a setting, like very raw and primitive, do you think people would believe in something called a divine intelligence? Do you think that would enter into it, be inserted into their lifestyle? So that's my second question, I guess. Anybody have some opinions? Yes.
I think it would, because when you're in nature and you're just, against the elements, you start to depend and see that there's something higher than yourself, the sun, the weather, Mother Nature, so on. So they might have some perspective like that.
Right, I agree with you. Anybody want to oppose what Mandala Ram is saying? Are you okay with what he said?
Yeah.
Well, please don't leave me in a void. I do this, or in India they do this. I can never figure that one out. Okay, so most in that kind of circumstance, there's a feeling of humility, dependency, and that's where it would go. Srila Prabhupada oftentimes quoted, he said, so the Aboriginal folks, they believe, living in natural circumstances, believe in a higher power or higher powers. So you compare that to the way we live today, and there's a lot of negativity. People doubt. But okay, doubting is also not a bad thing. As Srila Prabhupada has explained before, doubting is a kind of sign of intelligence. You're not going to blindly accept what's being thrown at you. And he liked us to be independently thoughtful. That's a phrase he used. He wrote it in a letter, said, I like my disciples to be independently thoughtful. Even when it comes to Shastra, you can question. It's okay. Up to a certain point. Let's say you live up to 109 years old or 107, and you're still doubting at the end. Didn't you get anywhere? Didn't you finish the race? Didn't you finish the project somewhere? Is that what it leads to? I'm not sure. Right? That is kind of a sad scenario, right? We hope that people can make more, get more traction than that. Yeah, so Dharma is something that is an interesting topic, and it is something that Krishna speaks about, roots about in the beginning of the Gita. Yes, you're Kshatriya, let's go and do your duty, man of action, let's, charge. That's more or less what Krishna said, charge! And nothing's happening. So Arjun was kind of sitting there and hesitating and humming and hawing, and at some point he just said, no, can't do it, just can't do it. And he had all the reasons to oppose that directive. But by the end, he understood. Actually, at the end of the conversation, which lasted only a few minutes, Arjuna was sold out because he believed in Krishna's power, Krishna's gravity, Krishna's wisdom, Vita Raga Vayo Krodha Mamayamanu Pasvita. It's one nice shloka in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says that many bahuna. That means that many people in the past have become purified by knowledge of me. But in that effort to attain wisdom about Krishna, they also made the effort to learn detachment, and as well as address greed and lust, anger, and greed. But basically, those are the three oftentimes we consider enemies of humankind. So those of you who are coming here, I imagine you have several reasons for being here. There is something called heavenly halava. And another reason would be coming is that the vibrations are nice, right? The vibrations are nice. There's the song, there's the January going back and forth. And now one thing that really pumps up people is a project. That's what gets everyone excited. A new project. And that project is to revamp this place, give us more space, be it more welcoming, add an extra floor or two, anything down below, or, you know. So we're gonna get big, we're gonna compete with Pavan, you know. And so that's what gets communities excited, you know. And then, like in one generation, usually a big thing goes happening. I remember I was raised in St. Mary's church community in Blenheim, Ontario, and there was a big project, and that is the church that we were going to, which is located downtown, just a block away from the hotel, and kitty corner from the Anglican church, which looked the same, but which was a different denomination, you know. It was getting old. You go in there and it was smelling musty. And for many years, pigeons were coming up into the bell tower and doing their mercy program. So that made the mustiness of the old wood, you know, getting damp, and plus the pigeons doing their thing. It was determined we will, you know, it was almost like it being a condemned building. It's time to do a project to start anew, which was kind of bad because it had this building. It was like from 150 years ago, and maybe more. Had beautiful like frescoes up on the ceiling. There was angels, people with wings, and I was trying to figure it out. I just couldn't figure out the stories, but there was definitely something going up there. You were supposed to read it and know it. I don't remember one time when the priest talked about, so this is happening here, and that's it, and this is so and so, and that's saying this and that. Nobody ever explained it. But anyways, the building had to come down. So they kept the addition, which became the hall where people get married and have, you know, after the funeral, have a lunch or something like that. And they built out. They got a new site right at the other edge of the field of St. Mary's Secondary School, where I went to school. And they built a pretty snazzy, new, like architecturally gorgeous for that time, in the 60s, a new church. And it had interesting kind of stained glass. Just the shape of it was not traditional. You know? And it was a big thing for the community. Everyone got quite excited. You know? And it was a special town too. In the month of May, it was called the month of Mary. We had our little mini Rath Yatra. We would bring an image of Mary, a statue, like we call it Murti, and she was put on a cart and she was pushed along, and we were singing hymns to Mother Mary on Sunday morning in the month of May. That went on for a while, and it didn't matter what denomination you came from, and that we didn't have any Muslim people. There was nobody with brown skin except for Mr. Boudram, who came from Trinidad. And he was a nice man. He smelled like cumin all the time, Jira. There was no mix of anything. It was just quite white folks, you know, all the time. And but boldly we went through the streets singing to Mother Mary, Lady Madonna, children at your feet. That's a Beatles song. It doesn't have anything to do with the Madonna of today, if you know what I mean. Not the material girl. but the spiritual girl. I'm just telling you this. There was a nice community there, and everyone got excited about the project. Project was done. Okay, so now, what about after the project's done? We sit comfortably? Because for one generation, usually, okay, we can handle that, 20 years of people of worship, you can do this. Then what has to happen after that? Well, you do get comfortable, like I'm comfortable in this chair. But how comfortable do you want to get? How complacent do you want to get? Because complacency is one of the biggest enemies for somebody on the spiritual path. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, complacency. Oh, take it easy. I'm chanting my rounds. Krishna's with me. He'll always look after me. And this and that. That kind of casual attitude can be quite dangerous. Because we always have to endeavor. We have to endeavor. So anyways, going back to the project, after that project's over, it's good if you can be connected to the next project. And what is the next project? Build another church on the other end of town, and just keep rolling, keep rocking and keep rolling. That's the program. Is that something new? No. It's something our acharyas had established during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago. Is this better? Here all along I thought I was doing okay, and then he puts the mic in front of my mouth, and I said, oh gee, I blew it halfway through. Yes, so, the acharyas at the time of Mahaprabhu, his contemporaries, the Goswamis, they were very much into establishing temples all over the place. I mean, that was the mandate given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the Goswamis to excavate holy places and establish temples there. And holy places, Vrindavan, yeah, that can be, it's understandable. Many holy things happen there with regards to Krishna Lila. But does that restrict anyone? Can we build just anywhere? Is any place okay?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes, because every place is Krishna's place. At least that's my understanding. There's no, turf. There is no ground that you can stand on which doesn't belong to Krishna. Bhoktaram yagya tapasan sarva loka maheshwaram. Sarva loka. Sarva means all. Loka, places, land, whatever. Maheshwaram. Maheshwaram means he's in charge. We know that Maheshwara is oftentimes a name given to Shiva because he has a lot to do with the universe. When things go really bad, he steps in and he does a wild dance. So, but Maheshwara is attributed to Krishna. It's another one of those beautiful names that refers to Krishna. Just like at the end, Yogeshwara. Yogeshwara means Krishna, who's the mystic, supreme mystic. The other day I did a podcast interview that was with Jennifer Lee, and I got to know Jennifer Lee in Utah, in the state of Utah. She was working with a radio station, and they were playing pop music. You were with me at that time? Were you? I think so. Perhaps. No, you came after.
I think we stopped in
You came after.
Utah.
Anyways,
No, Utah I missed.
you missed it. Yeah, so, I got on the podcast the other day with them, and these were two ladies. It was Jennifer and also Sonia Rogers. And they had a lot of nice questions to ask about, especially the walking experiences and so on like that. They were the kind of people that, energy. As soon as I got on, I popped up on the Zoom, said, oh, I've never met you before, but, says Sonia, I never met you, but I can feel your energy. Those kind of folks, nice people. And they asked a lot of questions. And of course, I made reference to our blessed Bhagavad Gita, which is all about righteousness and so on like that. And I told them the Bhagavad Gita is the ultimate book in yoga and mysticism. Everything about, good behavior and making decisions. And dharma, I explained there's dharma. That means doing what's righteous. And if you do what's righteous, then you're addressing your karma. And they had a good idea what that was. Karma means action and inherent reaction. And then there's another word that actually appears in the Bhagavad Gita, which is called Sharma. I thought Sharma was the surname of some people. Is there anybody with the name Sharma at the end? Hare Krishna, and Hare Krishna. And what does your name mean? Do you know?
Puja means worshipping God.
Worshipping God? Okay. Sharma means worshipping.
Sharma has actually been something allocated to Brahmin class that's been going on.
To the Brahmin class.
Yes.
Anybody else have a translation of Sharma?
It's the same, it's just a caste, I guess. They
It's
named it
Yeah.
to the Brahmin.
You know, but it has a
community.
literal meaning. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, you answered it. Good. My understanding, Sharma also refers to mercy and grace. And, wow. Anyways, anything to do with Arma, so has something good about it, seems. We are, those of you who've come here, are here, you're in the midst of a beautiful project, and so I thought I'd just mention that. There's, I think really yesterday was the unveiling of the project, right? For those of you who are there. And we're planning to build a proper structure for not just the students of Ottawa U, but for this area. And we're hoping that, you know what you have to work at? You have to get Justin over here at the opening day.
Okay.
You know, it's not a big walk for him, you know.
Do you still think he's going to be around?
I don't know. Only God knows. But you'll have to get some dignitaries over here. That's something the community can work on a little bit more. Prabhupada was excited because we looked at the letter yesterday. He's quite excited about the fact that we have a center in the capital city of Canada. And there's some expectation that we would make those strong connections. Prabhuji, you were with the embassy, right? We know you from Cuba,
That's correct.
Havana, right?
Yes.
And you were working with the Indian embassy.
Yeah, I was retired.
Okay, yes, thank you. And we went to a wedding in the jungle, right?
That's correct.
I was supposed to be the priest, right? The jungle just outside of Havana, and Prabhu was there, and your Mataji, she's Hare Krishna. Let's recognize your names again.
Shri Chand.
Shri Chand.
Ji.
Right, Shri Chand. Let's hear it for her. So dignitaries. So it's important that we make connection with the dignitaries that are, doing their important decision making here. So many years ago, I took a bus from Brampton to Ottawa. We took the Highway 7, the scenic route, and it was Diwali time. And it was, I went twice, 2 times in a row. And it was to celebrate Diwali at the Parliament. It was Building West, Parliament West. I'm not sure which one is it. Is it this one or that one?
East and west.
East, west, okay. Yeah, so it was very interesting. And at that time, none of the local devotees participated, but your dad came. He met me at the bus. We were in a bus. And it was an interesting bus ride. They had some Bollywood movie in the front, and this is Hare Krishna. But I was in the front, so I could look at it. And but it was fun. I remember we met quite a lot of big dignitaries. We met Joe Clark was there, and he was a former prime minister. And Paul Martin was to become the prime minister. I mean, there was this big deal they had with the banks merging, and apparently his wisdom arrested it from taking place. They didn't follow suit with what the Americans were doing. So, anyways, he was kind of heroic. And there was Stockwell Day. Does anybody remember him? Mr. Super dressed, fancy dress guy. And yeah, there was a few other, the lady that came from Hamilton, she was kind of big in the politics at that time. I had a chance to meet them all. I showed them the books like the Ramayana, and Joe Clark was in the corner of the room, and he was looking at it for a good 15 minutes, and you know, flipping the pages and looking at some of the diagrams and so on like that. It was really, and I was so taken, you know. And then there was also a fellow who was in charge of the defense. I just put one guy from the East Coast. I just can't remember everyone's name. But I thought, well, this is an important place for us to be. You know, we need to be here. We need to be connected with the dignitaries, the most important people in Canada. And so that would be my request, that let's get rolling, rocking and rolling with more of those people. But your dad, Paramahansa, who's not here with us now, one of the most gentle persons on planet Earth, came there to see me. I was very touched, even though he couldn't and no one was able to come to participate in this event, which we had people had come all the way from Toronto to celebrate. It was interesting dynamics, okay? I'll just tell you a couple of small details, which is funny and fun. Okay, so these people are coming in, and you've got, the people came with some decorations, because it's Diwali, right? And you have this wallpaper, which was over 100 years old, still there, mint condition wallpaper. And some little tinsely things were coming out with tape, and they're just ready to go up on there. And one of the supervisors, no, you can't do that, you can't do that. Be very nice. You can't do that. Yeah, this wallpaper has been here since the founding fathers. You just can't do that here. Okay, all right. So I thought that was really cute. And then there was another instance where the second part of it, we were waiting for the dignitaries to come out. They had a long meeting. I was telling you about the bank merge, right? And it seemed to take forever, but we were waiting, and then some of the folks were saying, well, let's sing some songs. You know? And so they did, and one particular guy had a harmonium, and he started to sing a ghazal, you know, a love song. And it was a popular melody that devotees use with the Maha Mantra. And I asked, is that song? I asked the guy, Prabhu next to me, with Punjabi guy. I said, is that a song of bhakti? I said, oh no. This is a love song. So okay, so I got to understand that some of the tunes that we use are taken from Bollywood, and maybe we should reconsider. So it was very enlightening evening for me over there. But the main point I want to make is that, you know, we're going to have a lot of projects ahead of us. You know, building this structure within when? 2 years should be in? It depends on you folks, right?
It's in your blessings, Maharaj.
Your blessings and your openings. You know what I'm saying? And then the project will be done, and then it's time to move on. You know, maybe to Cornwall, maybe to Kingston, maybe to Kannada, or you know, another like a suburb. It's time to get on. And some of you, I see some of you are like, how many students do we have here, by the way? Okay, how many former students do we have here? That's got to be everybody. Wait, I don't even see your hand. You're a former student. Right?
That's so long ago.
So some of your students, you're quite young, you're going to get settled down. Many of you want to settle down in Canada, and we're fine with that. That's wonderful. That's great. You'll have your children, and you want to have a temple in your neighborhood. And not just that it's a place of worship, but that what the Sharmas do, right? But it's also a place where you will have something for the children, like a Sunday school, you know, where they will learn, and the culture can be preserved. The nice things about the culture. You know, there are, when you travel around the world, there's nice and not nice elements to every place that you go to, right? Like I have some good friends from South Africa. They settled down in, because South Africa became so crime-ridden. Canada accepted them, and they settled into Newfoundland first, and they were, because they needed a doctor. They really have a hard time in these remote towns to keep a doctor there, to keep them happy. So they gave them a house. When the snow needed to be plowed, they laid the sod, everything for them. Newfoundlanders are, I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings here, natural Canadians, for instance. The Newfies are the friendliest. They are the nicest of the Canadians. They are the best, for sure. Okay, and so everything was going good for them. Maybe the level of education for the family was a little bit questionable. But when it was decided that we're going to have the whole community was coming together for a big event, and that was, there was going to be a moose meat festival. Okay, that didn't sit well with the nice family from South Africa. and I guess many of us here will agree, yeah, it's not the most scientific or mode goodness thing. So there are things that we all could be a little embarrassed about, and stand-up comedians do the best job at taking the weak points of a culture, putting it on the stage, and getting you to laugh at yourself, right? So we all have, those kind of points in our life which are a little bit touchy, but when the way it's conveyed by like a stand-up comedian, it's all okay, and you have to laugh, and everything's okay. It's all right to have some mistakes. It's all right. We're not always perfect, because everybody wants to say, we're the best, we're the best, we're the best. Well, how can everyone be the best? Okay, maybe you're the best, but, from your standpoint, but are you perfect? Well, no. Okay, so what is it that's not perfect about you? Well, okay. So there might be some answers that come up. The truth will be revealed. Okay, so we all have some weaknesses, we all have some strengths. And Krishna consciousness is meant to bring out the strength of everybody. The bhakti side. That's what we have. And the strength is in here, the truth is in here. What are some of the foundational principles of Bhagavad Gita? And I'll ask you, and this is my third question, and then you can ask the questions, I guess. Does anybody have some idea what would be some, let's say, just foundational base rules, or let's say anything philosophical truth, a philosophical truth that comes out of the Bhagavad Gita that everybody can learn from? Any ideas?
Equanimity.
Equanimity, okay, that's a pretty good one, because there's lots of verses that address equanimity. That means you're talking about keeping a cool head, level-headedness. Is that what you're talking about? In the face of adversity.
And happiness.
And happiness, okay. You slipped in another one. Prabhu at the back. I forget you're Mr. Super Duper book distributor.
Surrender. Surrenderness to Krishna.
What's that?
Surrender.
Surrender to Krishna. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Detachment.
Detachment from the physical world. Yes.
Acting according to your nature.
Acting according to your nature. It's a good one. That's very good. Right.
We're not the body.
We are not this body, and we are
Spirit, soul.
spirit souls. Yes, that can. Yeah.
You have the right to work, but you cannot expect the fruit of the
Yeah.
success.
Chapter 3. Yeah. Nice. Right. You have to perform your task. Don't expect great results. Just do your duty, follow your dharma, and you are protected. What else?
Togetherness,
Togetherness?
like bringing people together
Right.
in association.
Kill them first, though. Yes, but you're right. Everyone coming together. That's definitely one of the principles in the, let's say, the purposes of ISKCON. Yeah. Yes.
Mixture about your karmas.
A mixture about your
karma.
Study on karma. Right?
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, we can say that.
Okay, great. Hey, you're good to get along with. Good. What did you?
Whatever happens, happens for good.
Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. He será, será. So that's Spanish. I know my mother loved this song. Yes,
Resilience?
Resilience, yes.
He carries.
Equanimity, yeah, that's good, yeah. Shine, regardless of whatever comes your way. This is good. These are good fundamental values, yes.
Change is inevitable, like
Change is
you just
inevitable.
accept the change. Night and day,
That's right.
it comes one after the other.
That's right. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I'm changeless. You know, but everything else does change. Most of us change our minds, right?
Yes.
You ever heard that? We change our minds. Should I go to the temple or should I not go there? And we have our excuse, oh, we're talking about a store, and I don't think so. This and that, we have our excuses. I'll go to the temple, I'll go to the temple just before Prashadam. This is across the board weakness, maybe? Yes,
We have to fight for dharma.
fight for Dharma. That's right. That's Krishna's main thrust, basically. You can't let Dharma be challenged and do nothing about it. Yes.
Mind can be a friend or enemy depending how you use it.
The mind can be your friend or it can be your enemy, depending on how it's used. Yes. In the back?
The soul is eternal.
The soul, it's eternal. Very nice. Yeah, good. This is good stuff. We're going to go for 108 on our list. Yeah.
There are 3 modes of material nature, and we should strive to be in the mode of goodness.
Okay, good. 3 modes of nature. Yes, the best one is Sattva Guna. Yes, and we have one.
Favorite qualities of Krishna, transcendental qualities and demonic qualities.
Okay, it's chapter 16 of the Bhagavad
Yes.
Gita. Okay, very good. Yeah. Know what's demonic, know what's divine. Yes, Prabhu.
It's everything belongs to Krishna, and everything that we create, it belongs to him as well. Bhaktaram yagya tapasam.
Yes, that's right, the one that we just quoted. Very good. I'm glad you know that Sanskrit. Somebody else back there, Prabhu?
Janma karma chame divya mein, one who understands Krishna, he will be free from the circle of earth and
Okay, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, you said first? Okay. That means everything about Krishna is divine. Right, excellent. Wow. I think that's a spin-off of what the divine demonic. I think that we brought that on. See how we're to get there. You have another one?
Love and devotional service.
Love?
And devotional service.
What about it?
That's what we learned from Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
To serve your Guru and Krishna.
Oh, it's about service, yeah. Bottom line, service, action. Yes, right.
Trusting Krishna's plan because everything emanates from him, from the sea verses.
Everything emanates from him, that's for sure, and that's stated here as well. Chapter 10 from Bhagavad Gita. Good, we're doing really good. Wow, shining stars. Yes, Ruth?
Stability of mind.
Stability of mind, equanimity. I think we mentioned that's good. Thanks for bringing it up again. Yes.
Lust gives rise to anger, which gives rise to illusion.
Yes, chapter 2 from Bhagavad Gita. There's a whole chain reaction. When you contemplate the objects of the senses, one develops an attachment, and then that turns into like a lust. And from lust is born anger, and from anger there's illusion, bewilderment of memory, and basically you're lost. Yes, but in the back?
Ahimsa.
Ahimsa. Non-violence, yes. Non-violence and violence, up in both are applied in the teachings. Yes, Prabhu?
The path of dharma may not be the easiest one in most of the cases, but still needs to be taken.
Okay, you find that that's one of the cornerstones of the Bhagavad Gita? It may not. Okay, Krishna says, yeah, it's difficult. It's not easy.
Keeping the conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna.
Yes, yeah. Devi, Mamamaya, Piratyaya. So it's difficult to deal with the world, but take shelter of Krishna, nevertheless, even though it's difficult. Good. We're doing good. This is fantastic, isn't it? I'm impressed. I don't know why I'm sitting here. You guys should be. Yeah, we're still going, yeah.
The 2 ways that you can actually control your mind is abhyas and vairagya. It's like practice and
Detachment.
detachment. Yes.
Okay. Right.
But you have to keep practicing it.
You have to keep at it. You have to carry on. You know that phrase, "Keep calm and carry on." That came from Bhagavad Gita. It's true. When you think about it, the mind is wild. It's going all over the place, but really, it's all about carry on with what you're doing, what needs to be done, and So, yeah, exactly. I thought carry on had only something to do with going to the airport. But yeah, check in and carry on. You got that from the Gita, didn't you? When you go to the counter and I was at the counter once, I think I made this story before. There's one lady, this is the Pearson Airport. She sees me and just to the side, "Excuse me, can you pray for me?" I said, "Well, sure, is something happening?" "No, but just in case it does." I have people coming to me at the airport sometimes, and the people who work at, "Swamiji, can you read my palm?" All kinds of requests. Yeah, and you do meet some real nice folks. I mean, I was at I was in Argentina, and I was at the airport there, and a man I met who's from Brazil, a lot of good questions, just came up to me and just started talking away. It was great. And that is because you're in these clothes. So when you wear traditional attire, it represents something, and people have a lot of things that are conjured up in their minds. They have questions. Good. Have we run out yet? Or is there anyone last? Okay, Alex.
Ijabinaye sampane, pamaniga vihasini,
That's one of my favorite verses. And it's all about, trying to see with equality, of souls of different bodies, such as
Brahmana, a cow, a dog, a dog eater.
You gotta make the sounds better and make it fun. Kind of a sick cow to me.
Should see me with equal vision.
Okay. Sick cow, healthy cow. Cow is cow. Wet stool, dry stool, probably used to talk about stool is stool. Good. And anyone more? I'm glad you're filming this because we've got a list. Wow.
Krishna is the highest and nobody can be equal to him. We are
Yes.
just part and parcel of the divine.
There's no one equal to him, yes. There's no one superior to him. That's the fact. That's in the Gita as well. Those are foundational, values, principles that we find in this great brick of gold, Bhagavad Gita. And so we hope that you will all get some enlightenment, take a little time every day, look at your Bhagavad Gita, go through it. There's one trail in Southern Ontario I just wanted to finish. It's called the Bruce Trail. It goes for 900 kilometers. And it's a beautiful trail. It goes up and down. It swings around like a snake, and it goes for quite a distance, from Queenston Heights, where General Brock was killed. You could look up your history. Check it out. Here's your phones. General Brock. And it goes all the way up to the tip of Bruce Peninsula. It's a beautiful trail. And a lot of people do it in sections. So when it comes to the Bhagavad Gita, this is a trail. It's a journey of life. And you can do it in sections. Just go at it, comb through it easy, coolly, and you'll get through to the end. And so what is there at the end? Okay, this is what Sanjay has to say, just to wrap it up. Here's what Sanjay says, who's actually the one who's observing everything that's going on at Kurukshetra. So I'll just get to Here's what Sanjay says. By the mercy of Vyas, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure, being thrilled at every moment. O king, speaking to King Dhritarashtra, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I'm struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. Final verse, number 700. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, power, and morality. That is my opinion. Last word from Bhagavad Gita, well, when you translate in English, opinion. Hare Krishna. And I think Sanjay's opinion counts. Hare Krishna. So are there any, I don't know what your program is like.
Questions?
Yeah, any quickies?
I'm just going to also say, I'm sorry, I forgot to acknowledge, we have some guests online as well. We have about 8 participants. So if the devotees have any questions also from online from Maharaj, you could raise your hand. There's the reaction buttons at the bottom of Zoom, so you could press that if there's anything you would like to say. Otherwise, if you're in the temple, you can physically raise your hand to go on Zoom.
Yes, Prabhu.
Which chapter of the Gita is closest to your heart and why?
Well, one of the verses I like is the one that Alex brought to our attention, Vidya Vinaya Sampani Brahmani Vajini Shuni Chaiva Shvapakaja Pandita Samadarshana. That is talking about the vision of a true Pandit, this one who sees that a Brahman and a human being who eats dogs as a delicacy. A dog, a cow, an elephant, they're all the same, spiritually. Physically different, but spiritually one. So why do I like it? Because it's an easy verse to put out there for a newcomer. They like it. They like it. It's easy to swallow. It's not hard hitting. I think it's 5?
518.
Yeah, it's 5. 518. Great, thank you, Prabhu. In the back, Prabhu.
Objectively, do you believe every great religion believes in the same God? Personally, do you think every great religion believes in the same God?
Oh, does every religion believe in the same God?
Objectively.
I was walking with you and Trayvon. We were in New Jersey. We were chanting on our beads. And Vivaswan, our support person, came to us and said, Maharaj, look at, there's some people coming this way. And it was a procession of about 12 people. They were chanting on their rosary, the Catholic rosary. Do you remember that? Right. And so we were chanting on our japa beads. They were chanting on their rosary. And we were going one direction, they were coming the other way, we were meeting. So we decided we're outnumbered, we'll go over there and talk to them and find out what's going on. So, well, we're praying on the rosary for people, for the suffering humanity, like that. And we chatted a little bit more. And the lady that was there, kind of one of the spokespersons, she said, oh well, it's all the same God. And then they went about their way and we went about our way. So it depends on what person you're talking to. Some people they like that notion. It's the same powerhouse, same God. And some people will be ready to oppose that. Some people say, no, it's not. No. You have a different kind of God.
But what do you think what is your opinion? Personally?
Well, it's all the same. Yeah, one God. Yep. Krishna, we call him. They might call him by another name. We have different names for the same thing. The sun has different, how do you say the sun in Polish?
Słońce.
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 Słońce. Did I say it okay? Słońce, I learned something. Słońce, the sun in Polish. Sulay. Surya. Yeah, I'm just talking about French. I can't forget.
Soleil.
Soleil. So, Hooray. Yeah, so different names, nomenclatures to indicate the same body, heavenly body. And someone else back there? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you
Oh,
for
Hare
your
Krishna, how are
gracious
you?
presence. I'm pretty well. I know you shared the anecdote in the airport, but I was genuinely curious. Are you able to read palms, or is that okay to ask?
I can look at the lifeline, that gives you an idea. I can just, that's all I can do. I've never got into it too much. I really haven't, but you know, I know if I did, then you'd all be calling me today. So. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for the wonderful talk. In the start of your talk, you said there are just two group of people. One is Dharmic and other one is Adharmic. Dharmic is the Pandavas and Adharmic Kauravas. So I have this question. If they are called to the Dharmic, why did they play this gambling game, dice game, and they put their wife at stake?
Yes.
Is that an act as a Dharmic act?
Well, gambling is not necessarily opposed to the Kshatriya order. It's like something that the Kshatriyas do, so it's not really against their dharma necessarily. And yes, it's true that Yudhishthira was attacked, you know, by, you could say, a kind of Maya. And if you want to look into it really deeply, Krishna wanted these things to play out so that Draupadi could be spared. And it would be very clear, you know, because it was a gambling game, but it wasn't a fair one. It was rigged. And so it would be very clear that who are the righteous and who are not the righteous. I mean, it's a deep discussion, but, you know, on the baseline, it's you know, for the most part, Yudhishthira was always standing for righteousness. Right at the get-go, though, it wasn't Duryodhana who was going to rolling the dice. Someone did on his behalf. So it was very crooked from the very beginning, even though you might say the gambling in of itself is something that's not super clean, but it is something the Kshatriyas did. And then, you know, the game was, let's say, it was just cheating going on to start right from the get-go with the Kauravas. So it's a topic that can be discussed in greater detail, but you know, in general, the Pandavas were just extremely righteous, and they were obliged. If they're challenged by another Kshatriya, they have to, you know, accept a challenge, like a battle or anything like that. That's part of their part of the culture. So the role of the Kshatriyas is very different from the Brahmins and the Vaishyas and so on like that. The codes don't imply for everybody the same.
But how far is it okay to put your wife at stake?
Yes, it was pointed out that that was wrong, and Draupadi points that out as well. So definitely Yudhishthira was caught at a moment of weakness, and it's not really, it's not, you can't excuse him for that necessarily. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I would suggest that please don't do that to your wife.
Don't do that.
Please just keep her. Even if you just take the cause, fight it out with your fists if you don't have any swords. They had lost themselves. The Pandavas had lost everything. They didn't have any. They lost their land. They didn't have any property left, so they had no right to take her into the circle. Especially, it was a very weak time, her period in the month, and so many things are there that would explain it's very adharmic. Yeah. Okay, yes, Prabhu?
Forking out of what you just explained, is dharma, how would we define it? Is it subjective even today, since we are not in those four categories which used to be there earlier? Is it subjective even today?
Yes, there are, like, say, if we're just talking about protecting your spouse, that is something that should always be preserved. And maybe some adjustments are made today. Like, If you don't follow the laws of the land, that doesn't necessarily mean you follow the laws of God. Yeah, so some things are applicable, some are not. But where there is an obligation, it's Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishami Ma Shiksha, which means that you can turn your back on various what we call values, and for a greater good. And the greater good is to surrender to Krishna. Krishna asks Arjuna, we have to do this, we have to go ahead. And forget all other considerations now. So forget Dharma. In the beginning, Krishna was saying that you have your Dharmic principles that you must honor. So by the time the conversation rolled out near the end, Krishna is saying, okay, just forget about those other things. Once Arjuna stepped up and understood the value of Dharma, then Krishna was willing to say now, okay, now you've reached transcendence. You've got the right attitude now. Now you don't have to take those, let's say, secondary considerations so seriously. Is that okay? Yes.
You talk about how there's three aspects that kind of bring us down. There's lust, anger.
Three gateways to hell.
Yeah, lust, anger, and greed. And I just wanted to see if you could just comment maybe on those. First lust, then anger and greed, and maybe how we could get rid of those.
Oh, that's a big topic. How long, many hours do you have?
I'm here all night, man.
We'll be here till the Rath Yatra season. Well, just very quickly then, lust is simply the intense desire, and it has different shapes and forms, and it is a major distraction because we're supposed to love the Lord, and it's the lust that kind of stands in the way. Lust is something that is very real, and since we have it, it's built into our system. It's not something we have to necessarily shun, but controlled lust is what is admirable. And that is what Krishna says in the Gita about. He says lust is permissible within the realms of Dharma. There's certain codes you have to follow. Just like to give a general example, okay, be intimate with your life partner, but, you know, like especially in marriage, life partner, don't go outside of that ring circle. So that's it. So that's how lust will be satisfied, ultimately. Anger, we spoke about it this morning, it's an acid. It's an acid. It burns. It's not an acid, it's liability. It's for an ass, though. You know, so definitely a liability. And when anger is up, intelligence is down. It's shut off. And you don't reason anymore. That's how it's described in the Gita. You know, your intelligence is locked, we're bewildered, and so on like that. So that's why it leads to lower levels of existence. And greed is also a very captivating element where you just feel you want, and you know, when you don't deserve. So the way to deal with it is try to embrace what the Ishopanishad has to say, Ishavasham idam sarvam yat kinchat jigat jam jigat, which means that everything's operated, controlled, and owned by God. It's not yours. So, but he's willing to give you a ration, a small allotment. So it's a matter of educating yourself. And then, you know, you could check that tendency to be greedy.
How do you deal with anger again?
Anger, how to deal with anger. Take an anger management course. But basically, when you go to an anger management course, you're going to a Brahminical person. You're going to a counselor type person. somebody who's developed the sattvic skills, right? And so it's sangha. It's really being with the right people. And we talked about that this morning also. Some people, like in popular culture, they say, you got a feeling, let it out, vent. That's not the answer. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe there's a place where you can do that, vent with a person who listen and make a difference, give you some solid advice, but don't just start punching everybody in the face. You have to know where to go with it. For most areas of weakness, you should go for some counseling. You should go for some people who can help you to see things in a different way. Go to a Brahmin, go to a mentor, go to like a guru type figure. Somebody's more experienced than you. Some of the best teachers in that realm are the ones that were angry and they learned to control anger. Like on the last walk that I did across Canada, one person who was with me, he did 1.5 times across Canada. His name's Michael Osh. He's the one that worked on that film. And he had alcoholic issues before he went on the first walk. He wanted to do something about it. His marriage was falling apart. And so he went for the walk. He cleared up a lot of stuff inside of himself. And now he's a counselor for people who have this alcoholic problem. So he's effective because he's been there. And he knows what to do about it. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Is that
Krishna.
okay? I think we better end it there because myself and our little traveling crew, we're going to have to go soon to Gananagwe. There are some people waiting for us there. So we'll only be able to stay here for a little bit of whatever else is going on. Hope you understand that.
Some Kirtan Maharaj?
Yes, how long will it be?
To 5 or so.
Okay, sure.
Or as long as you like.
To 5, okay, sure, no problem. Oh yes, I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, but from the Vyasa song. Is this a Vyasa song? No, it's not, therefore it's okay. We wrote a book, and some of you may have it already, Saffron Path. And it's all about their walking experiences. It's inspirational. And it's available for $30. Hare Krishna. And the funds go to more publications like this. Hare Krishna. All right. So I only got 4 copies. So. Thank you so much. What a wonderful group. Where's my phone? Okay, so now I have an advantage. I got my phone. I've got you. Okay.
Hare Krishna. I would just like to thank, on behalf of our ISKCON Ottawa Yatra, Maharaj for coming and joining us today. Let's give him a warm round of applause and a Haribol. Smile, everybody, smile.
It didn't do anything. Oh, that's because it's on video, that's why. Okay, we're going to change that. Okay, there's a difference here.
Okay, one more time. Haribol, right?
Yes. Okay. Hare Krishna. So if anybody's interested in the book, Raman, would you like to take care of it in the back? It'll just take, the exchange will be nothing. It won't take too much time in the back. Because we'll have to go.
Shall we stand, Maharaj?
Oh yeah, you should definitely get up on your 2 feet. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Like yesterday, we can sway back and forth. Okay, good. We'll go to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Mani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyata Deshatari Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Mani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, go on. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramansa Pariparajika Charya Sitavis Sisima His Divine Grace E.C. Bhaktimarga Swami Prabhupada Ki Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramansa Pariparajika Charya Sitavis Sisima His Divine Grace Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Nama Charita Haridas Thakur Ki Praise God, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Vidyananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunde Giri Govardhan Ki Sri Vrindavan Naam Ki Navadi Maipura Naam Ki Gangamai Ki Yamunamai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulsi Devi Ki Hari Naam Sankirtan Ki Brihad Maratanga Ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna Glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna Glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna Glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Namah Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Vishaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktimarga Swami Vidyanamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Astachari Shatharine. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
So, devotees made some special sweets, actually. So, if you like, Maharaj is going to be handing sweets out. You could come one by one. We could form a line. I hope there's enough. There's a lot of devotees in here. I don't know if everybody's going to get one. So, no pushing and shoving, okay? That's and then the curtains will remain open for a few minutes as well. So, simultaneously, if you like, you could come and say your prayers in front of Shri Gaura Nitai, take darshan, and then prasadam will be served shortly. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Silence is golden. Yeah.
Also wanted to mention that there will be a morning program tomorrow at 4:30 in the morning. If anybody wants to come, on the Aarati. Bhakti and Alex will be there. And the kitchen is on now.
Boy, girl. Boy, girl. Boy, 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 girl. Just going for equality. Boy.
Yeah, but они есть начали. Здесь просто, ну, они ж не знают, она их выгнала. Нет, ну это не исправить. Они еще возникают. Современные. Фотографии хотел сделать одновременно. И вообще не поймешь. надо же мужчина, чтобы руки кто-то помыл. Или я могу, я ж не могу подойти к Махараджу, помыть ему руки. Надо же Прабhu, да, подойти. После этого. А куда надо? Вон тазик, и вон вода, и вот... Я кінчила, так. Глупенький, слепенький.
Fine wedding in the jungle. How about you? No one's taking.
Вон вода, вода, вон вода.
Just like we did the last
Jab Tindra Kaika